Smackdown Live. Let's get something settled here. I'm going to talk about Raw a little bit and about Crown Jewel. What did I do when Crown Jewel came out? Did I watch it? On the day of it, yes, 8 minutes of it. The next day, I just looked at the last match, which was Shawn Michaels and Triple H versus the Brothers of Destruction. The only reason I watched it was because I wanted to see two things. One, I wanted to see Shawn Michaels, how he performed, because they said he did a pretty good job until he tried to do a moonsault and literally landed on his freaking face and busted up his nose. What was this son of a bitch thinking? The guy is pretty good in the ring still. Not saying he was perfect. He was pretty good enough that he could be passable. But when he decided in the spirit of the moment that I'm going to do this, he does the freaking moonsault when he probably hasn't done one in 8 years and landed on his freaking face was hilariously stupid. Second thing was when Triple H hurt his arm. From what I understand, he tore something. He tore his pec. Ooh, nasty. That happens in wrestling. That was the most I saw. Raw. Did I watch Raw? Some of it. Did I like Raw? No. Raw was shit. Did Ronda Rousey speak well? Yes. Did Drew McIntyre look dominant over Kurt Angle? Oh, hell yeah. There's a picture of him on my face seeing Kurt destroyed at the end of the match. At 11 o'clock. I did see that match. I agree with, who was it? JD and Deluxe Man. He looks slow. Kurt just does not have what he had before. I would rather see him as a trainer from now on. Look, even if he could still go in the ring sometimes, and it could be in a tag match, it would be better for him to work in the back and work as a trainer. And train with the talent. We need new trainers. We need more people to pass on what they know. Okay? You need it. But it's just my point of view. Essentially, Raw sucked. For the next 2 weeks, I just don't expect much from Raw. Smackdown, on the other hand, was better. Doesn't mean it was a great show. I say it was above average for me personally. It could have been great for everybody else, and I'm sure everyone's going to say it's going to be great. But it was maybe above average. And it still doesn't really give me 100% interest going into Survivor Series, even though some of the matches seem like it could be workable. Now, opening of the show, we got Paige coming in because they're at Manchester, England, a place maybe they should have done Crown Jewel. Because you really pissed off a lot of people, WWE. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that they could have gotten out of it, or they should have gotten out of it, or I was glad people were angry. I just knew they weren't going to break their contract and their promise. I just knew they weren't going to do it. But I think they should have gone to Manchester. That's why I think they should have went. But that's just how I felt. People love seeing Paige. Shane comes out. He says 100% after holding up, this picture is from Crown Jewel. I managed to grab this picture off of Smackdown Live. And once he got into the ring saying he only did it for Smackdown, not himself, I'll say it like this. Hearing the rumors that he could become heel eventually doesn't interest me as long as no one else around him to make it interesting. Look, you can have Shane turn heel, but if we don't have anything for maybe the Bar, or the Usos, or New Day, or freaking Sanity, who I'll talk about in a few minutes, why do I care? When you only have maybe one story going on for the men that works on Smackdown Live. Why do I freaking care? I get more stuff from Impact Wrestling. Yes, I said it. And I try to be open on things. Admittedly, I need to go back to looking at Reality of Wrestling or some other promotion and start doing reviews of it. Please tell me if you want to see it, guys. Because I want to get an incentive to do it. If you guys don't want me to do Reality of Wrestling, tell me what other promotion you want me to do. Except Lucha Underground, because I'm not really interested in it. Not because it's Mexican wrestling. It's just I'm not interested in dealing with that much theatrical stuff. Yes, Impact Wrestling become more theatrical, but you get my point. It's not as bad as when it comes down to at least Lucha Underground, not 100%. It's scaled down. This is Lucha. this is Impact. There's still a big difference. But anyway, tell me. But seeing Shane just wasn't interesting. Daniel Bryan is the first person who's picked as champion for Smackdown, going into the Survivor Series as their captain. Miz comes out, and Miz always cuts the best promos. The man just can't do a bad promo. It's very rare the Miz does a bad promo. And he convinces Steph, well, not about to say Steph. He convinces Paige and he convinces Shane to become a co-captain. And then they start working on who should be on the team. First person he wanted was, who was it? I forgot who were they going to actually have. The Miz first wanted Samoa Joe. Daniel Bryan wanted Jeff Hardy. Then you have, oh yeah, it was Ray. Sorry, I almost forgot Ray. And I think I know the reason why. When it came to Sierra Almost versus Ray, Ray feels like an afterthought. Because when it comes down to it, Ray just does feel like an afterthought. He just does. I would rather see Ray go after the U.S. title than actually work in the Survivor Series match. I would rather see him go after Shinsuke Nakamura. To be honest, give him something to do. Because when it comes to Shinsuke, he has nothing to do. But I'm kind of stepping ahead of myself. What was the Sierra Almost match versus Ray like? It was okay. But honestly, seeing the Sierra Almost is nothing but a glorified jobber with no Zelina Vega. What the hell happened to Zelina? Did they finally separate them? They said that she had something else to do. I think they might be actually considering separating them. Because what is she doing with him? Nothing. If they're going to make her team up with someone because the women are going to have tag belts, this is what they got to do. But the match was okay. Ray wins, but then we get a little bit of excitement because the RKO came and basically Randy nailed him with it. You got a nailing of Randy Orton for your trouble, Rey Mysterio. I'm kind of hoping that this feud between Ray and Randy Orton drops quickly. Or at least it's put on hold at one point. And maybe Shinsuke Nakamura goes after Rey Mysterio. He gets the title and then have Rey Mysterio faces Randy Orton for the U.S. title. At least that'll give us something different. Because it will be a little bit of history between the two. That's just me. New Day versus the Usos. The one who wins becomes team captain for the men's tag team elimination match. Here's the thing. The Usos went up against AJ and... But what did they gain going up against AJ and Daniel Bryan? Nothing. Did they gain anything? No. So they go up against New Day. They go... I don't remember who won. Wait a minute. Who won? I think it was the Usos. Yes, the Usos won. But here's the problem I see. If you haven't noticed, ladies and gentlemen, because Roman Reigns is no longer there because he's fighting leukemia, and I really do hope he beats it again. I don't like his character, but Joe, I can't remember his name, but Joe, I don't want to see him die. I don't like the character they gave him. I don't like the push they gave him. But I do think the guy is probably a good guy. But here's the problem. Because he's not there. Oh, Joe Ottawahi. There you go. They're pushing all the Samoans right now. They're pushing Nia Jax, who shouldn't be pushed at all. They're pushing Tamina with Nia Jax, which is a wrong move because Tamina should be out by herself and should be a heel dominant by herself. Look, I'm going to say this again. And I'm going to keep saying this again. You don't have to like Tamina. Tamina is better wrestler than Nia Jax. Let's be honest. If you compare Nia Jax to Tamina, Tamina is the better wrestler because she's been around longer. You may not like her. You think she's shit. But she deserves to hold the title once. How many times has Nia Jax held the fucking title? I told you before. Everybody and their freaking mothers held that title. Superfly's daughter has never held the title. But The Rock's cousin has held the title more than once. And now she's getting another chance again. Tell me I'm wrong. Tamina should be getting a shot. If she's not sucking dick, Nia Jax, they're doing it because of The Rock. So either Tamina needs to suck some dick, or they need to at least show some respect that the woman, taking away from what her dad did. You can say he killed somebody, you can say he's not. Forget about him. She's been in there nearly 9 years. Everyone deserves a chance at that title and actually hold it once. And she deserves it at least once. Period. But in the end, all the Samoans are being pushed. So that kind of takes away from the Usos. But you can't really say that at the same time because the Usos are loved. They bust their ass to be where they are. And this is where it's kind of a problem for me. They're obviously being pushed because of The Rock. Because of Roman Reigns. Because of Tamina. Because of Nia Jax. They're being pushed because the Samoan line is being pushed. Hell, you kind of wish Samoa Joe was part of them because his name is Samoan. Damn it all when it comes to Samoa Joe. But I'll get to him in a minute. But when it comes down to it, the Usos just feel, I'm glad they won, but then I'm not glad they won. You got my point. Now, let's see here. Becky Lynch had her promo. That damn promo was awesome. She made it very clear that, yeah, she became a clown at one time. Yeah, she had to work somewhere, but she did it because she had to earn her way instead of being given it as an Olympic winner and medalist. As a UFC darling, as she was saying it. I earned everything I did, woman. You say you're the baddest bitch on the planet? This is the part I like the most. Well, soon, you're going to be mine, bitch. In other words, she's going to conquer her ass. She's going to break it. She's going to break her ass. I got to say, I loved that promo segment. It was beautiful. It was lovely. And then, the thing that made me incredibly happy and incredibly sad. Incredibly sad. Incredibly happy. Sanity is shown for once. And who knows how many months. I don't care if one of them has been hurt. They got to show them once in a while. Just to show they still exist, but they didn't. But then, oh my God, my baby. Look, I love me my Naomi. You guys know Naomi's the be-all end-all. I love the woman. I'm glad that she's in the Survivor Series women's competition. Well, of course, there's not that many women on Smackdown anyway. They're going to use her no matter what. But, next to Naomi, you got a Nikki Cross. I remember that woman from NXT being short, sexy as freaking hell, and crazy beyond stink. She reminds me sort of my ex-wife. I know that sounds like, you're bashing your ex-wife. No. I'm saying it in respect that my ex-wife, she was a good-looking woman, intelligent woman, and when she was in the mood to go crazy, because she knew what she was doing, when she wanted to show her teeth and be angry, she go crazy. If she heard me say that, she had suck a cock, you motherfucker. I know she would say that to me, and I'm saying it in respect because I knew her so well, and I always still respect her. Even if she did say suck a cock, I'm going to be like, fine, it's all right. Say what you want. You earned it. You live your life. Happy for you, which is the truth. But she reminds me of her in that kind of respect of being crazy, willing to do whatever the fuck she wants, and willing to act as crazy as she has to. And that's Nikki Cross. I love that about Nikki. Next to being a damn good-looking woman. I mean, I'm married. That would be, if you look at Becky Lynch compared to Nikki Cross, look, they're both beautiful women. But Nikki, that one is compact and beautiful. Was the match good? Yes, it actually was the best match. It was. I did enjoy it. For the women I've seen in weeks, that was the best match I've seen in weeks, period. Taking away from what happened with the last woman standing, just a standard match, I love this. In the end, I didn't expect Becky to lose. But here's the question, you guys tell me below. Does that mean Nikki Cross is on the roster? My guess is no. She's not. It was because they were in Manchester, England. Did Sanity come out and bring out Nikki Cross? Because you had yourself a Scotswoman versus an Irish woman. Pretty much two of the same people with different cultures, that are similar. I think that's the best way you can really say Scots versus Irish. They are both Celt by tradition, but one went in one way, one went the other way. They have similar cultures to a certain extent, but there was a division at one point. And they kick ass when they want to. I'm just saying. I might actually have Scottish or Irish blood. I have white in my blood, so who knows. Anyway, let's move on to the AJ Styles program. Well, I think the reason I botched here really didn't mean much. It didn't. I just didn't feel much from AJ in this situation. He just doesn't feel like a credible threat against Brock Lesnar. Not saying that he couldn't be, because the last match they had was so damn good. But I keep thinking, because Brock is now champ again, do you actually think they're going to let him job out to an AJ? I've heard people say, oh, this time he's going to job out Brock Lesnar for AJ. I doubt that shit. I will be surprised if AJ wins their match. I will be surprised. Really. I do not expect AJ to win the match against Brock. So to me, this didn't really feel substantial. But I could be wrong, and I'm alright if I'm wrong. I don't mind eating crow if I'm wrong, because that'll make me happy. Because I wouldn't mind seeing AJ win. Because they can do another match at Royal Rumble. That would be cool. Have a Survivor Series match, and then both of them could actually have another match at Royal Rumble, because they want to settle it. That's just me. Let's see. The women had their time to show who's going to be in their 5-on-5. Once Paige brought them out, and it was Asuka, who pretty much feels buried. You got Mella, who's actually doing pretty well with R-Truth, who I believe, if Rey Mysterio doesn't get the US title, give it to freaking R-Truth. Because R-Truth with Truth TV with the freaking title would be funny as freaking hell. He will play off that mess like crazy. You got, who else was also part of it? You have Sonya Deville, and you had Naomi. Then you got, and this was an interesting thing, Charlotte was supposed to come out because she was announced. But the person that came out was Mandy Rose, saying, hey, I know I'm not the blonde you were looking for, but I'm kind of confused, Paige. How come you let Sonya do this and not me? Because I threw her ass out during the Battle Royal. Goes into the ring, starts mocking the women until she reached Naomi and said, oh, you still have people feeling the glow? Naomi said, yeah. Well, I don't think your man's feeling the glow. In other words, he ain't getting that damn cookie. If you haven't seen Total Divas, that's what she calls her, you know what? She calls it her cookie. Hey, I don't have no problem calling wherever you love your body part. It just sounds funny. And you know what that Mandy Rose got? She got elbow to the face for her troubles. And then there's a fight. And then you got Sonya Deville trying to hold back Mandy Rose. And then they divide one another. Are these two finally breaking up? It's hard to say. Honestly, Sonya Deville breaking up with Mandy Rose would actually be a very strange thing. But it doesn't mean it would be a bad feud. I think they'll put them in a feud. Mandy's going to be the bad guy. And Sonya's going to be the good guy. It just feels a little strange. Because the way those two really act in real life compared to the way they act in the show is very similar. Like the Iconics. So I don't know what we'll actually get. But my guess is they'll have them feud at one point. They'll stay away from each other. And when the women's tag division actually starts, they'll have them come back together. That's just me. You guys tell me below. Finally, you got Samoa Joe versus Jeff Hardy. Now, before I do that, you got Shinsuke Nakamura, who I didn't care that much about his promo. He just feels blank. Like I said earlier, give it to Rey Mysterio, that title, or give it to R-Truth. I just feel that both of them would do something more with it, if they don't screw them up. But once we had this match, because Jeff was backed by Daniel Bryan, and Joe was backed by The Miz. They made an agreement, whoever wins becomes the final person to join their team. Because Rey made it, and now it has to be one of these two. The match was nothing. The crowd liked the match, but the commentators and, let's be honest, the two team captains only cared about themselves. You got the backer for Jeff wanting him to win so bad because he can't stand Samoa Joe because he got beaten up and choked out. Then you got The Miz, who, like I said, The Miz is the good guy in this. I've said this already. Daniel Bryan, during their feud, sucked so hard because he was trying to be portrayed as the underdog, and he wasn't. The Miz is the one who is the true underdog. So when you hear this, you hear The Miz who's saying, look, okay, I'll work with you. I'll find this right. I'll make this right. And throughout the entire match, they were bickering between each other, where pretty much Samoa Joe was nothing and Jeff Hardy was nothing. This meant nothing. This was all about Daniel Bryan. Because when it came down to the end of the match, Samoa Joe wins the match. Joe jumps out of the ring and wants to gloat in front of Daniel Bryan because he knows he doesn't want to work with him. And The Miz is begging Daniel Bryan, please, don't lose it. Stay calm. It's okay. Don't lose it. And pretty much Daniel Bryan basically starts hammering on Samoa Joe, puts him into the yes lock, and it's The Miz that grabs him to try and calm him down. And then The Miz gets beat up for his trouble, along with Shane McMahon, who gets flipped. So the person here who's the problem child is Daniel Bryan. So what does this mean? This is all about Daniel Bryan. So does that mean they're going to be doing something with Daniel Bryan? I don't know. I don't think they're turning him heel. They're just showing him not misunderstood and just angry. At least going into Survivor Series. I don't know what's going to happen afterward. It's just going to depend. But my guess is this. This is still a guess. Because of what's going on with Shane McMahon possibly turning heel and Daniel Bryan being angry. You may just have yourself the new Austin and a new Vince McMahon. If they're trying to pull this little stunt, I don't think you're going to do it. You never know. But you could actually have the new Austin versus the new Vincent K. McMahon. And a Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. They're going to have a feud. I have a feeling. And it's going to be Daniel Bryan who will probably be the face. And it's going to be Shane that will turn heel. That's what I think will probably happen eventually. That's what I think will happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. That's what I think. But this is my point of view. You guys tell me below. The show was just average. Maybe above average a little bit. But that's just my point of view. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.